All right, guys, the Utah Jazz lose to the Portland Trail Blazers. This is Hanson James. This is the SLC Dunk postgame show. Disappointing that the Jazz lose this game, but maybe not as surprising as some might. I mean, this was the third game in 4 nights. The Jazz looked tired, which is what happens when it's the third game in 4 nights, especially on the back end of a back-to-back. Flying, playing a late game on the West Coast. So this is like the game starts 10:30 Mountain Time for Jazz players, 9:30 Mountain Time, 8:30 Pacific Time. Time zones matter, flight matters, third game in 4 night matters. They're tired. They look tired. You know what happens when you're tired? You get turnovers, you make bad passes. Your legs don't really get under your shot, and so you miss shots. You're not able to dunk and contest and all these things. And you know what else? Give a lot of props to the other team. Damian Lillard was a monster tonight. Damian Lillard is great. 36 points, 40% from 3 on 4 for 10 shooting, 52% from the field, 10 assists. Sometimes you lose, Sometimes you lose because the other team you're playing is great or played great that night. Even like the worst teams in the NBA have NBA players that at times can have a great game. Damian Lillard had a great game tonight. It happens. And when you're tired, it's the end of the season. You're in the playoffs. You're playing OKC. And I'll be honest, me personally, I kind of prefer being the away team to start the series. If the Jazz go and steal one in OKC, then it's immense pressure on them. And honestly, having a little less pressure going into the playoffs with a rookie leading scorer is probably not the worst thing ever. You go in and you lose one of those first few games. Doesn't that put a lot of pressure on Donovan Mitchell, who's never been in the playoffs before? I don't know. It's not the worst thing to get whatever we are, the 5th or 6th seed. Let me know on the things. I can't even remember. But I'm not losing sleep over this tonight. I'm not going to lie, guys. Players get tired. This is my first season kind of really covering the Jazz kind of full time with SLC Dunk. I'm tired. I'm really tired. And I don't play the game, last night, I was up, just for perspective, last night after the post-game show, I finished posting that, uploaded it, did all the things, wrote the post, got it set up. Then I had to write another article, the Downbeats on SLC Dunk. Are you reading the Downbeats? Are you reading my Downbeat I wrote last night that finished at 2:33 in the morning? I was exhausted today. You know what time players fly into the places they go every time after a game? 2, 3 in the morning. And that's after having played one of the most exhausting games in the world. And then they play the next day. It just happens. I'm a portly 5'8" writer, and I'm tired. I can't imagine having to guard Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson and have a great game against them, but then fly in at 1 or 2 in the morning to Portland and then have to play the night. You get tired. You're tired, Would it be nice if the Jazz won and then get home court advantage? Sure. But what happens if the Jazz get home court advantage and they lose one? That's a recipe for a little bit of disaster and too much pressure probably on rookie superstar Donovan Mitchell. So, And by the way, like I said at the beginning, Damian Lillard is great. Portland is great. The Jazz have struggled against Portland because Portland is very good. They just kind of match up pretty well against us. And I think the Jazz can figure out a game plan to beat Portland if we meet them in the playoffs. But I don't know. Damian Lillard is a monster. And, it's just how it goes. Guys, I would love to just come up here and say, the Jazz, what are you doing? You came in here, you didn't even try. You didn't even play your hardest. You know what? Their shots weren't falling. And you know what happens when shots are falling? You look like you're trying harder. It's just this thing where it seems like you're trying harder when your shots are falling. When your shots are not falling, it's harder to get back on defense. It's harder to do everything. They didn't shoot well. They lost. We lost. Colton Davis, hell. Yeah, but guess what? It's just a statement. Colton, thank you. Like at the beginning of this year, let's just put this all in perspective, guys. Let's get churchy. Let's talk Jazz church, all right? What were we hoping to be at the end of this year? What were you, before the season started, hoping for the Jazz to be? My guess is you were just going to be excited to make the playoffs. Right? We did that. Did we lose the last game? Sure. Did we win 6 of our last 7? Yes. I don't know. Let's just be excited to be in the playoffs. It's Saturday. It's exciting. Adam Ray King, whatever. We got in and we're going to beat the Thunder, especially since all the pressure is going to beat them on. Yes, we're going to beat the Thunder. Honestly, I think we match up pretty well. Each time we've lost to the Thunder this year, it's either been the Jazz being caught at one of their worst times, having Donovan Mitchell be guarded by Andre Robertson, Rudy Gobert injured or not playing or recovering from injury. We just never really got the Thunder at a good time. And you know what? I'm not that worried about them. Yes, Rudy Gobert struggles with, oh, I'm tired, guys. The New Zealand center. I can't remember. I'm tired. But he struggles. Steven Adams. He struggles with him. He just does. But he plays pretty well. And Rudy finds a way, and Rudy's a fighter, and he'll be fine. And the Jazz will come up with game plans to force Russ into bad shots and give Carmelo Anthony all the opportunity in the world to lose the game for the Thunder. It's going to be fine. Yes, Bill Hedrick. Unfortunate, but it happens. Yes. Guys, it's the NBA. Sometimes you lose. You know, sometimes you lose. No one goes undefeated in the NBA. Not a lot to say tonight, guys. I'm just excited for the playoffs. Why don't you just tell me in the comments what you're excited about for this playoff series? What do you think the Jazz need to do to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder? What do you think Quinn Snyder should do? I have some ideas, but you know what? Quinn Snyder's a really good coach, and he's going to find a way. And the Jazz have a lot of weapons, and you can bet they're going to be ready, because last time we went into the playoffs, we had an injury on the first play of the game, and Quinn Snyder still found a way to win. You know, losing Rudy Gobert, our most impactful player on the floor. So I think one of the great things that the Jazz have is that we have Quinn Snyder, who's already ready to start coming up with a game plan to help us steal one in OKC. So it's going to be really fun. Like and subscribe this, guys. Go to SLC Dunk. Read all the articles. Do all the things. Click all the links. I'm so tired. I'm going to bed here soon. Make sure that you go to SLC Dunk on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. 82 games over, and you guys were here for all of it. I appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. Talk to you later.